To SEC Network Basketball presented by Pfizer, a fresh sheet of snow on the ground in Lexington, Kentucky here at Rupp Arena as the 17th ranked UK Wildcats get set to tangle with the Vanderbilt Commodores. It is round number 2 between these two SEC programs. Damian Fishback, Roy Philpott, a great atmosphere already in store here at Rupp Arena. What a game we've got.
Yeah, we got a rematch. That's right. The Commodores won last time, and the Wildcats are looking for a little payback, Roy.
No question about that. Otega Oweh leads the charge for the Cats, numeral 00. He scored in double figures in all 25 games.
Right, amazing. Last person to do that was Malik Monk, and we know how terrific he was. He has similar athleticism. He is the best downhill driver in the SEC. That's right. And he has the ability to manufacture points or distribute the basketball. It's going to be an incredible matchup here tonight. I can't wait to see which one strikes first, the Commodores or the Cats.
Devin McLaughlin, Amari Williams. Veteran official Pat Adams throws it up. Opening tap controlled by the Cats, and freshman Travis Perry running the point tonight to start for head coach Mark Pope. Well, injuries continue to be a concern. No Lamont Butler, no Jackson Robinson. Kobe Brea from downtown, and a good start for UK.
Yeah, only took 6 shots against Texas. And Coach Mark Pope and the staff wanted him to take more. He comes right out of the gate with a big 3-pointer.
Commodores led by Jason Edwards. Virginia Tech transfer Tyler Nickel. A.J. Hogard from Michigan State. And McLaughlin inside. Another Commodore to watch. And inside for the Cats, a foul call. It'll stay with the Commodores. Travis Perry picks up his first person.
Well, Travis Perry, Trent Noah, 2 freshmen who have played extremely well. Trent Noah still on the sideline, but these freshmen always, I believe, play better at home in their own confines.
Second start for Perry. Mignon travels. Got caught in the air trying to hand it off to McLaughlin. And the Commodores turn it over.
The last time the Commodores and Kentucky Wildcats faced one another, the Commodores came out, had a double-digit lead at halftime. I think it's even more important for them to get off to a fast start here in Rupp Arena.
First time that Mark Pope has utilized this starting 5. First home start for Perry. Carr inside. We did not see Andrew Carr in the first meeting 25 days ago. We see him now early.
Yeah, there's a chance he could be one of their most valuable players. He has rim protection, good size, and the ability to spread the floor.
Edwards lost the handle, recovers in time. He floats home the fadeaway.
Jason Edwards, we call him the microwave. His ability to manufacture points in bunches. You don't want to allow him to get going if you're the Kentucky Wildcats here early.
Brea hit an early 3. Texas did a great job down in Austin Saturday night, bottling up number 4 for the Cats. Williams outside to Carr. And McLaughlin, excellent box out on Williams.
Yeah, solid defense that time by the Commodores. They were able to handle the first set and then limit the Wildcats to 1 shot.
McLaughlin has improved his 3-point shooting as we've gone deeper into conference play. Well, Edwards had the ball in a string for a moment. Outside to Nickel, an open look, and he buries it, the Virginia Tech transfer.
Yeah, there was a beautiful fade screen. Tyler Nickel, an efficient 3-point shooter. You have to be cautious of where he is at 38%.
Yeah, he hits 3 or more triples. Commodores 10-2 this season. Hit 3 in the loss at Tennessee. Good look to Oweh inside, and a chance for 3. But the high-low action.
Well, Kentucky's so good at reading and reacting. And when speaking with Coach Mark Pope about that, he said that he felt like his team would be even better if they were, be healthy and be able to play consistency. And when I see Mark Pope, all I think is a guy who oozes what Kentucky Wildcat basketball is all about. National championship when he was here, worked his way up, was a tremendous performer at BYU, top 4 or 5 in the Big 12 last year. They have the right guy at the helm for Kentucky.
Stops at Utah Valley, BYU. Edwards off the heel. Mignon, the offensive glass, the pump fake, and the former All-Ivy League performer at Cornell makes it a 1-point game.
Yeah, I think he's critical. His energy, his effort is always critical, whether that's defending, getting out in transition. You see him on Kobe Brea now.
3 minutes in, 8-7. Williams with position. Mignon tried to tie him up, and there was contact. Mignon picks up his first. Mark Byington, year number 1 in Nashville, stops at JMU and Georgia Southern. I mean, he won big at both programs, and he led JMU to a 32-4 record last season.
Yeah, able to knock off Wisconsin, run into a buzzsaw at Duke. I think Mark Byington is a perfect fit for Vanderbilt as well because he has a chip on his shoulder. He coaches like that. He recruits players that have chips on their shoulders, and he expects to win. That's why you were able to see him knock off Kentucky earlier, as well as a top 10 team in Tennessee.
I broadcast with a chip on my shoulder sometimes. Is that okay?
I know you do, brother. I know you do. I got a little one, too.
Okay. I was going to say, I do a better job if I've got that chip. Sometimes it goes away. Tonight it's here. 10-7 Cats. Couple of free throws for Williams. And now Hogarth, defended by Perry, outside to Nickel. Nearly banked that one home.
Excellent job of Kentucky defending the middle ball screen. Good communication, good contest by Kobe Graham.
Williams spots Oweh. The hesitation. And he'll take Oweh back to the free throw line.
The decision making already much better by the Kentucky Wildcats. When talking with Coach Mark Pope, he said, we're still learning how to play with these guys, right? So they're on their 4th point guard, really. And so when you see Otega Oweh, what you got to like is that even though he can knock down 3-point shots, shoots 33%, he knows that he's much better at attacking the basket, and that's better for himself and his teammates.
Let me ask you this. You played in the league. You understand what it's like to have outstanding backcourt play, going back to your days at Auburn. Cats without Lamont Butler. We know what he can do from his time at San Diego State. We know what he can do based off what we've seen here in Lexington. No Jackson Robinson. You're on your 4th different point guard in the starting lineup here in the last 2 games. How big of a deal is that for the rest of the guys on this roster?
Well, we're in the SEC, so from a football perspective, imagine your 4th quarterback. That's what Coach Mark Pope is dealing with. He's never had to deal with that before, but this is the end where they have to continue to be better as McLaughlin knocks down that 3-point shot is defensively. Because if they get stops defensively, they can get out in transition and just be basketball players.
4th-string quarterback. That's great perspective. McLaughlin with a triple. Here's Colin Chandler from downtown in the response. Well, his minutes on the up and up. That's his 4th 3 of the season.
I love that because Otega Oweh penetrates, but oftentimes the score, that time he penetrated the pass.
Backdoor cut, and Mignon the dunk. Wanted the foul, didn't get the whistle.
Beautiful back cut. Otega Oweh lost Chris Mignon on the back cut and a tremendous pass by A.J. Hogarth.
Well, if you like pace and points, these 2 teams will offer that tonight. They average over 85 and 80 respectively. 15-12, Oweh had it stolen by Huffman. Mignon, McLaughlin, and fouled by Carr. Andrew Carr picks up his first. Vanderbilt shooting free throws when we come back. An entertaining start here at Rupp Arena, and the lead is 3. Just 25 days ago, Vanderbilt's upset of then top 10 Kentucky, 74-69, the court storming, and there may have been a fine levied afterwards. That's neither here nor there. Jason Edwards did a great job that night for the Commodores. Oweh in double figures as you would expect, but Vanderbilt jumped out to a huge lead, then Kentucky rallied, outscoring Vandy, 31-10 right out of the break, and then Vanderbilt seized control. So there were like 3 games within the game 25 days ago.
Yeah, certainly was constructive for the Commodores. I think that's what really put them on the map, that and the win against Tennessee, and one of the reasons why Joe Lunardi still has them in the NCAA tournament as we speak. But for Kentucky on the other side of that game, they had 17 turnovers, 9 turnovers in the first half, and that was critical because at that point 21% of Vanderbilt's points were coming off of turnovers, their run game, getting out in transition. So that's what I'm interested to see tonight. If you're the Commodores, can you get stops to turn the Wildcats over, get out in transition? And if you're Kentucky, can you complete the defensive possession with getting rebounds and getting out yourself?
McLaughlin has one more coming. 69% on the season. For the Boston College transfer, Had some big moments this year. The block of Nick Pringle for South Carolina, the three-point play, helped lift the Commodores to that home court victory against the Gamecocks last month.
Yeah, in that last game, Devin McLaughlin got into foul trouble early in that first half, and Tennessee made a run early in the second half when he was out of the basketball game. He's very critical, 99 in black for the Commodores.
Ainsley Almador checks in for the first time. He's been on a heater from distance. Colin Chandler lost his balance and he was shoved. A.J. Hogarth did not like the call. The foul on that baseline drive. Now coming up next, 4th-ranked Bama, 15th-ranked Mizzou. Fish from one of the loudest environments I've been in so far this year in conference play, right here on SEC Network, also on the ESPN app.
Absolutely must-watch TV. You want guard play, you've got that. Obviously in Mark Sears, and here's guard play right here, Kobe Graham. You know, I expect that to be the game in Missouri, Alabama, a complete shootout, which is what it seems like we're going to have here tonight in Rupp Arena, Roy.
Yeah, you got Sears, you got Bates, you got Caleb Grill, got all those three-point specialists for head coach Nate Oates, and here it's A.J. Hogarth driving inside, and it's 18-15.
Yeah, the big body veteran from Michigan State, the transfer. As he goes, so do the Commodores, and his ability to get to the paint is what Coach Mark Byington talked about at their shoot-around today.
Brandon Garrison checking in. Almador left open for a minute, and the Cats red hot from downtown, 4 of 5 to start.
Yeah, he's the wrong one to leave open, shooting 44% from behind the three-point line. He has been sizzling.
Jalen Carey on the floor, perhaps a candidate for 6th man of the year in the league. He's put up big numbers as of late. MJ Collins off the back iron. McLaughlin hustles for the rebound. And against Brea, they'll swing it around the horn. Collins again. How about the reverse? Boy, he took a shot on the head at the same time.
Yeah, and he's down right now. He bounces back up, showing some toughness. And all of this stemmed from Vanderbilt's ability to get to the offensive glass. And MJ Collins is certainly terrific in attacking the basket and creating for himself another.
And Fish, you saw as he came down, the head collided with the arm of Brandon Garrison, who was simply reaching up to try to rebound the basketball.
Yep.
And Collins appears to be okay.
You know, yesterday in practice, one of the first things Coach Mark Pope worked on was defensive rebound. They just continued to throw it up and made guys box out. Give credit to the Commodores, though. They've been quicker to the basketball here so far, and they have 4 second chance points early.
That doesn't sound like a fun drill to be a part of in mid to late February. But it's something you got to do if you're trying to win games, right? 4 on the timer. Almador hands it off to Chandler. Got to go. And the rebound caroms to Collins. Chandler steals it right back. Colin Chandler. How about that finish?
Young fella. Man that's been off for 2 years. Looks like he's getting a little bit of the rust off of him. And Rupp Arena appreciates it.
23-17. But the pace to start here tonight. Jalen Carey on cue.
Absolutely love his game. 6'8", 265 pounds, as tough as nails.
Fish, you better be ready to score 100 points tonight if you're going to win a game like this. Garrison traveled.
Yep, good call. He was too anxious. As big as he is, he just needs to take his time and go up strong. And this is where you see Chandler doing a nice job. And then I like how he changes pace and direction, doesn't avoid the contact, goes up strong, and doesn't need any type of celebration.
Boy, great to see that young man. 2 early buckets. He averages just over a point per game this season. This is his 15th game overall. With the injuries to Lamont Butler, Jackson Robinson, Creasa. Great to see him on the court getting some PT.
Yeah, dunk contest winner, right?
Big time. Hogarth directing traffic on Trent Noah. Tyler Tanner, the freshman. He's been rock solid this season. And the floater splashes home.
Nice. And that's where Travis Perry for Kentucky has to take his biggest strides as a freshman. I noticed that in the Texas game. If you're playing in the SEC and you're a point guard, Travis Perry needs to know they're going to come at him and test him defensively to see if he can keep the ball in front.
Perry got his first start in Austin. Williams going to be fouled. Lamari Williams tugging along two Vanderbilt defenders. Attacking the rack. The lead is 2. Number 17, UK. We are back at Rupp after this. Let's take a look at today's Experts at Work, brought to you by Principal Damian Fishback.
Well, I like the way that Kentucky's now going to their bigs inside. Look, you see Brandon Garrison. Well, those are two guys that shoot 44% and 52% from behind the three-point line. So you can't help. They go over the top to the mismatch against Tremont Mark. They see that, and then they take advantage. Watch your eyes. Keep your eyes on Andrew Carr, number 7 in blue. Watch him sprint the floor. If you want to get more baskets, sprint like Andrew Carr did, big man. But then once he sprints, Travis Perry doesn't force it. He reverses the basketball, which allows Andrew Carr to get even better position. And then once it goes inside, that's right, that's easy like Sunday morning. The young freshman, Trey Johnson, is not ready for that. That's what I think Kentucky has to do more of, getting out in transition and taking advantage of mismatches now that a guy like Andrew Carr is back in the basketball game for them.
Didn't play the road loss in Nashville against the Commodores on January 25th. Back in the lineup, obviously, tonight. He's been healthy, and a heck of a run for him. The Wake Forest transfer, remember, the SEC Player of the Week after beating Duke earlier this year. And Andrew Carr do a bunch of things for head coach Mark Pope. And that size, you would think, right, that's critical against Vanderbilt because Vandy's one of the smaller teams.
Sure, and you see that, what he's got wrapped around him. I'm sure that's something to keep his back warm, right, because he's dealt with back injuries. You got to remember, Kentucky's only played 7 games with the full roster this year, which is impeccable considering that they've had 7 AP top 15 wins. The challenge that they have, it's an unforgiving league, and in a gauntlet of a league, you've got a team like Vanderbilt who is fighting for their lives to stay in the NCAA tournament, and they realize the importance of a win like this tonight in Rupp Arena.
Cats start tonight 4 of 6 from deep, and a perfect 6 of 6 at the free throw line. 25-21, 8 minutes in. Vanderbilt just 1-4 since the victory over Kentucky in Nashville. All 4 of those losses, they had the lead in the second half. Carey against Williams. Great matchup here. And Williams won that battle and claims the rebound.
Grown man basketball down there. The 7-footer continued to hold his ground without fouling.
Tega away. Mid-range is there.
He's a guy that I could see going on the run during March. He's already had a great conference schedule. We talked about, in fact, 25 straight games with double-digit points. But when he's making shots from the perimeter, he's as difficult to guard as anybody in the SEC.
And Kentucky has picked up its pace defensively. Vanderbilt shooting 69%, but trailing by 6. And that's because Kentucky's shooting 80% to start. Owe picks up his dribble outside to Williams.
Good defensive transition that time by the Commodores. I thought Kentucky had numbers.
Perry draws the double team. And the pass is picked off by Edwards. And Trent Noah with the miscue. Trying the skip pass.
Freshman mistake, he saw it, and then Vanderbilt able to close the gap.
Edwards a quick trigger. Noah the rebound. Perry outside to Noah, the Mountain Mamba. Not this time.
You were waiting on that one. You had that in your back pocket, didn't you, Roy?
It's been fun to watch that whole social media surge the last couple of weeks. Noah gets more minutes, more points, and he has taken advantage. Edwards, the pump fake, forced up the 3 and drains it.
He made that same play down the stretch against Zakai Ziegler with about 2 or 3 minutes left to go in the basketball game in their loss at Tennessee. One of the best in the conference at shot faking, still gathering, and knocking down the three.
We'll say it's a long 2 for now. Halfway home in the first. Amador from downtown.
That's the first person Mark Byington talked to us about. He said, man, number 15 has been shooting the cover off of the basketball, and you see double digits in 6 of his last 8 games.
Jalen Carey open. Back iron. Perry grabs it.
That's a tough one if you're Jalen Carey.
And we talked to Mark Byington this morning. The number he gave us in terms of Kentucky threes, got to hold them under 10. They already have 5. 11 minutes in. Perry tried to make it 6 and could not.
I like the push here by the Commodores.
Lob to Collins, under control. Nothing easy about that, and it was a smooth finish.
Pretty basketball. They need more of that. The quicker this pace is, the more it plays to the advantage of Vanderbilt. I like Kentucky running more of their sets in this game.
Amador, short. Tanner. Skies for the board. Now the freshman taking off. Here's Edwards, leading scorer, and the bounce pass. The rotation, Nickel. And Carey sandwiched between Noah and Williams. Draws the foul. And a reminder, women's basketball takes over the SEC Network every Thursday. Coming up tomorrow, number 6 South Carolina back in action against Arkansas at 7 Eastern. Georgia and 7th-ranked LSU from the PMAC at 9 o'clock Eastern. That is tomorrow here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. 2 teams fighting for number 1 seed in the upcoming NCAA tournament. Kim Mulkey's Tigers, Dawn Staley's South Carolina Gamecocks.
Yeah, 2 outstanding coaches. And how about the addition of Vic Schaefer, the Texas Longhorns in the SEC this year, playing outstanding basketball.
McLaughlin open, short. Madison Booker's made a big difference for Vic Schaefer this season down in Austin. And a huge win against South Carolina. What was it now, 2 weekends ago? Lead remains at 5. Owe from 17. Well, for as undersized as Vanderbilt is, McLaughlin and Carey get their fair share of rebounds.
Sure. They're going extremely small right now, really, with Chris Magnon playing the power forward position.
Hogar, the runner, and was shoved by Owe. Commodores shooting 2 when we come back. The lead is 5 for number 17, Kentucky. Alabama, Florida are right there. Tennessee wants to be there. And for Vanderbilt, they're kind of on that bubble. They've got some impressive wins, 2 over top 10 teams. But they're at the bottom, the quad 1 games, 2-7. You'd like to get another quad 1 victory or 2 tonight is an opportunity against Kentucky Fish.
Sure, they'll have ample opportunities to get quad 1 wins in the SEC.
After review, that shot is a 3-point shot. Vanderbilt will receive 1 point.
So that was Edwards at the top of the key moments ago.
Sure. And obviously you saw that the committee projected Kentucky as a 3 seed currently. We mentioned earlier they have 7 wins against the AP top 15. They've got as good a wins as anybody. But one thing that I noticed when we showed our bracketology was the fact that Georgia was out. And it's unbelievable that they're out if they had a win against Rick Pitino and St. John's, just to show the depth of the league. Oklahoma still trying to get more wins, with wins over the likes of Michigan, Louisville, Arizona. And so it shows the depth of the SEC this year. Every game is an opportunity, but every game is also an unbelievable challenge.
To that point on OU, Porter Moser's team 3-10 in the SEC, still listed in the field, according to Joe Lunardi, because of those 3 non-conference victories you just spoke of. And that's going to go a long way on Selection Sunday for the Sooners. Too strong for Owe. The Cats have cooled off, 1 for their last 6. Magnon a steal. He averages nearly 2 per game. And McLaughlin lays it in quickly.
And that's exactly what I mean. In this game, the quicker the pace, the faster the more opportunities for the Commodores to get breaks, the better advantage they will have.
Kentucky has led in the opening tip. Oway whips it out to Brea. Robinson. Garrison inside. And when Mignon steps in, he does a nice job to be able to force the hand. Brandon Garrison. Commodore's going to get it back.
Well, that's where Brandon Garrison's just got to get stronger. He's 6'10", 250 pounds. Chris Mignon just had more heart. He timed his jump, but Chris Mignon, 6'5", 215 pounds. If you're Brandon Garrison, you take your time, nice strong dribble, and put him in the rim.
Mignon can be disruptive with his defense. Boy, Huffman a great job to not go over and back on the pass from Hogarth. AJ gets it back and was bumped by Colin Chandler. And Mark Pope looking on his team with a 1-point advantage, talking with Pat Adams, Jeb Hartness, and Lee Cassell, part of this veteran officiating crew tonight.
Roy, the one thing that I noticed is the struggles for Kentucky to get passes to guys when they need to be there. And that's the absence of a point guard. That's why I think Coach Mark Pope, he's going to have to run more sets tonight to put his guys in position, because the guys are open. They have advantages. They're just not there quick enough.
Hogarth knocks down Chandler, and Vanderbilt grabs its first lead of the night.
Yeah, just wasn't enough contact for Colin Chandler. Again, that's a freshman continuing to learn on the job right now.
7-0 run for the Commodores, who lead it 31-30. And over the back of Garrison is Mignon. He's going to pick up his second.
Yeah, that's another example of them running a set. I don't think Vanderbilt can stop them in their sets, but here you see Colin Chandler. That's just not enough. The officials aren't going to call that. I like the no call, and give credit to A.J. Hogarth for going up strong. He's got to stand his ground like Amari Williams did against Jalen Carey earlier.
Hogarth, a physical player. Oway, athletic inside.
Well, Mark Pope is a savant. They work those sets, but once again, in transition, the Commodores trying to get out early.
And Chandler gets the ball back. Against Hogarth, throws it up, and a foul call. Boy, back and forth we go. The action has been fast and furious between these two. Don't blink.
Yeah, it was interesting because we spoke with Mark Byington, and we said, what are your thoughts on the opportunity to be able to sweep the Kentucky Wildcats? And he said, sweep. He said, we're not worried about a sweep. We're just trying to get a win.
You asked that question. I was like, oh, here it comes. I knew how he was going to answer it.
That would be huge in his first year. I mean, the type of turnaround that he has had at Vanderbilt is as good as anyone in the country. And so if you are able to knock off your rival Tennessee and then sweep the Kentucky Wildcats, you're talking about an incredible year on your own. But at the same time, he said everyone is playing for something. Kentucky's playing for seeding, and we're playing for our NCAA tournament lives.
Chandler buries the second. He now has a season high 7 points. Mark Byington also said something very interesting. He said, we actually played better against Tennessee on the road than what we did at home, but we didn't win. He goes, the wins are coming. He really believes that. But I found that to be an interesting take, given what happened in Nashville against the Vols and what happened in Knoxville this past weekend. Edwards, no. Carr climbs for the rebound. Ray off the screen, the step back. Noah had it for a minute. Edwards comes down with it finally. And part of the reason Commodores 1-4 in that 5-game stretch post-UK, well, the schedule's been absolutely brutal. Jason Edwards is going to shoot 2. And you could say that about a lot of teams. You look at what Alabama's got to face coming down the stretch. But here's Vanderbilt going back to that upset against Tennessee. 4th-ranked Bama, 9th-ranked UK. Road trip down to top 10 Florida, and then number 1 Auburn, number 5 Tennessee on down the line.
Sure, I mean, it's, as we said, it's opportunities mixed with challenges. But as Mark Byington said, they're playing better, but everyone else is playing better too. So you've got to find a way to win some of these games.
I thought Edwards was shooting, and on the way up, this crew will say he was not. So no free throws. McLaughlin.
Good pass
to Carey. Well, you mentioned it earlier, grown man basketball inside for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Kentucky defensively has to find a way to keep the basketball in front of them. As we mentioned at the shoot-around, the first thing Mark Byington said was they were going to be aggressive and they were going to attack the paint. That's what they're doing.
Carr outside to Noah. Trent Noah. Carey picked up by Williams. Approaching 4 to play in the half. Edwards has launched with less real estate in front of him so far tonight. Huffman gets it back. Noah clears. Travis Perry back on the floor. He'll pull a 3.
If I'm Mark Pope, I don't mind that shot, though. Travis Perry has the ability to knock down shots. I don't think you lose anything taking that in transition. This is the end where they have to do better. I like the way that the Commodores, though, have been attacking the paint. I continue to go inside if I'm Vanderbilt.
9 to shoot. Tanner gives it up to Carey. Picked up by Williams. Mid-range is too strong.
You notice how there's not a lot of push, though? That's the sign of the point guard being missing from Kentucky.
Corner 3, no. Commodores get it back. A chance to regain the advantage. Led briefly at 31-30. A team that's 17-8, 5-7 in the SEC. Edwards splashes home with a mid-range.
I think Edwards can get anything he wants. If he has the opportunity to face a couple of freshmen like Travis Perry or Trent Noah, he's going to have a successful game. I don't think that they've shown the foot speed, and particularly Perry, but Trent Noah has size, so may be able to do a little bit better.
35-34, Vanderbilt leading. 17th ranked Cats, Jalen Carey coming off the bench. He's averaged almost 9 and 6.5 rebounds per game, but the handoff from McLaughlin. Commodores out in front in Lexington.
That's an easy one. Florida at Auburn, where Todd Golden and the Florida Gators look like the best team in college basketball, candidly. Auburn was able to make the gap a lot closer towards the end, but Florida Gators and Todd Golden just really dominated that game from start to finish. And my guess is, Patrick Young, that's why you asked the question.
Keep in mind, too, that was before Micah Hanlogden came back to the court, right? I mean, that was a week before he returned after last Saturday's win at home in Gainesville against South Carolina. So you add another big to the mix. You're going to get Alex Condon back healthy.
Yeah.
You've got some other guys returning for Todd Golden. That is a team to be reckoned with, right? Damian Fishback, Roy Philpott here at Rupp Arena. 35-34. You got Bama, Missouri. Mizzou, they talked about that monster matchup. A slight favorite at home tonight. Oweh draws another foul, and it's going to shoot 2 more. It's Kentucky against Alabama coming up this weekend. So a monster matchup there. And should point out a shout out to our good friend Dick Vitale, who's going to be part of the 3-man booth for that contest. And Oweh was fouled by Carey. That's his second. But we saw the good report from Dickie V earlier today. Fish on social media. He went in for his regular checkup and everything looks great. And so he is all systems go for Saturday. We can't wait to hear one of the all-time greats back behind the mic.
He's a pioneer in our industry. And obviously you see now this is Otega Oweh's 26th straight game with 10+ points. And we mentioned it earlier. Longest streak by UK players since Malik Monk, who had 30. But I like the call from Coach Mark Pope out of the timeout to get back towards the basket. Kentucky started 8 out of their first 10 from the field, and since then they went 2 of 11. And I think one of the reasons is because they settled. They can shoot plenty of shots from behind the 3-point line, but most of the time those percentages go up when you touch the paint first and then spray the basketball out.
Edwards rejected by Oweh and slammed out of bounds. And even Otega loved how that felt.
Well, we talked about the ability of Jason Edwards to get to the paint, and Otega Oweh, that's something else that I think he could really do to take it to another level, is improve defensively. He should be a leader on this team, and that's what he's doing now.
Nickel on Brea. Williams comes over, help side. Another rejection. Nickel gets it back. McLaughlin in another fresh 20. Tanner. And finally, Williams claims the rebound. What is it like to block a shot the way that we just saw Otega Owe execute that rejection?
It feels great. Seems like you're flying high for a while, but in a game like this, you better come back down to earth really quickly because the Commodores are coming at the Wildcats every trip.
McLaughlin maintains possession and then gives it up to Brea. Cats by one. Williams finds a way up and in. So Amari Williams with 6 and 5 rebounds.
He and Janai Broom are about the best that I've seen, both southpaws, in going to that right shoulder. If they go to their right shoulder, it's almost a guaranteed basket.
McLaughlin from the corner. That's been his spot. It continues to be. And we are tied at 38. And Mark Byington wanted a timeout. Hey, don't forget, coming up Friday night, gymnastics, our doubleheader. It's back here on SEC Network, the ESPN app. Top 10 showdown between LSU and Kentucky here in Lexington. That's up first at 7 Eastern. Then Auburn and Alabama at 8:30. Friday Night Heights returns this coming Friday on SEC Network, also on the ESPN app. Fish, this feels like a continuation of the game we saw in Nashville last month. It has been fast-paced, exciting, and back and forth down the stretch of this first half.
Yeah, only difference I would say is the fact that the Commodores went into the half with a double-digit lead, right? 14-point lead when they were at home as well. But I do like the way that they're attacking the paint, putting pressure on the defense of Kentucky. On the other side for the Wildcats, who is the bigger team, I'm actually surprised that they haven't dominated the glass a little bit more. Kentucky's losing the rebounding war by 5, 16-11. And rebounds win basketball games. Mark Pope mentioned us. He said that Vanderbilt has gotten about 100 more possessions and 100 more field goals than their opponents during SEC play. Well, rebound is one way that you prohibit that from happening.
They also, of course, turn the opposition over.
Sure.
They've done a great job in the steals department to help set foundation for those stats. Perry swatted out by Williams, and Owe will retrieve it right near midcourt.
That's a prime example of offensive rebounding. And in the SEC, I don't know if any conference does better at tipping the basketball.
Is that an official stat somewhere, tipping the basketball?
Oh, that's a stat.
Williams, the slam, and the foul.
Now, where did that slam stem from? What we were just talking about. Additional possessions off of the offensive glass. It's almost like you get rewarded. Devin McLaughlin, he tries to reach on that other side, and absolutely no help that time by Tyler Nickel or Tyler Tanner. Somebody needs to step in there, but it looks like both of those guys made a business decision to step aside.
I mean, they want to continue to cash checks at a later date. I would support that idea. That's just me.
Yeah, the Drexel transfer, who had a triple-double earlier this season, seems to really step up to the forefront along with Otega Owe, probably their most consistent player.
Yeah, Drexel, most Kentucky fans know by now, the CAA Defensive Player of the Year 3 straight years. Now in the SEC, the triple-double earlier this year. And the emphatic slam at the end of the first half tonight. 4-second differential and change between the clocks.
I look for the ball to go into Jason Edwards' hand at some time to make a play for the Commodores.
Outside to Nickel. Edwards gets it back after the rebound by Huffman. Jason Edwards, no. Nickel again. McLaughlin, yes! Right before the horn, count the bucket.
And that is the story of the first half. Offensive rebounds, 8-2, go to the Commodores. That's the difference in the first half of the game, but the Kentucky Wildcats still up by 1.
41-40, and they're going to take a look at that last shot by McLaughlin, as we will as well. Popped out to Nickel, who found McLaughlin. He got rid of it pretty quickly and clearly before the buzzer. First half that saw 3 ties, 4 lead changes, and the Cats lead it by 1. Let's get you back to the studio and Peter Burns for the halftime report. Welcome back to SEC Network Basketball, presented by Pfizer. A look at Triangle Park, Rupp Arena in the background, and a 1-point lead for the Cats at home, ranked 17th in the country. With Damian Fishback, I'm Roy Philpott. Entertaining first 20 minutes in the books.
Yeah, all we could have asked for. Offense was electric. Both teams getting up and down. I like the heart that the Commodores showed later on in the first part of that first half, and I like the way that Kentucky came out shooting the basketball with confidence.
Yeah, Devin McLaughlin led the charge for the Commodores. Tega Owe led the charge for the Cats. Both had 11 points.
Well, Devin McLaughlin is, again, the silent assassin for the Commodores. As he goes, so do the Commodores, and I think him and A.J. Hogarth. But Otega Owe, we mentioned him at the outset, has been the most consistent player. Him along with Amari Williams with an electric pass that time, like the cut by Otega Owe. But the story of the first half, for me, was the glass, battle on the boards. If you had told me that I anticipated the taller, longer, more athletic Kentucky Wildcats would get out-rebounded by the Commodores as well as be -8 in the paint, I would have been shocked. For Mark Pope, he's got to be happy about the fact that they at least still have a 1-point lead, but they will not win this basketball game if they don't do more in the paint and on the glass. And for the Commodores, the more you're able to dominate the paint, get out in transition, the better your opportunity is to come steal one on the road.
I got one more for you. Kentucky started 4 of 5 from distance, ended 1 for its last 10. Something to remember when a team starts hot. It can be fool's gold as you get deeper into the game. Kentucky, the top 3-point shooting team in the SEC at nearly 38% as a program. We will see what that looks like in the second half. But Mark Byington told us we've got to keep them to 10 threes or less, in his opinion, to come out of Rupp Arena with a win.
Yeah, shooters are going to shoot. They got to shoot the basketball, but it's the type of shots that they're getting. You see the pressure on the ball already by Grant Huffman. Like, they've got to penetrate, be aggressive, and allow the basketball to go inside out so that they get quality looks, not just shoot because they're good 3-point shooters.
Kentucky with the first possession of our second half. Williams will feed Carr, picked up by Nickel with a size advantage inside.
There you go.
And Carr makes him pay.
Well, that's got to be all day long. You know, you look at the difference. Tyler Nickel is 6'7". Andrew Carr, 6'11". I'm going there until they're able to stop it if I'm Mark Pope and the Kentucky Wildcats, and I'm using the foot speed of Tyler Nickel on this end.
Commodores have struggled lately in the second half. Mark Byington has talked about that with his team before tonight, and even going back before the loss in Knoxville. McLaughlin, no. Owe clears. The guys were talking about at halftime back in the studio. It's a Vanderbilt team that's led in each of its last 5 games in the second half. Only has 1 win to show for it. Williams back to work. Inside. Powers that one home.
Well, one of the reasons he was so open is because he went to his left shoulder. I think Devin McLaughlin was shocked, and that's why Amari Williams can be so dangerous on the interior. That's where the advantage is for Kentucky, going to the block and using their size from their bigs.
Mignon's pass picked off by Carr. Carr gets it back deep. Triple. No. Up in the rebound. Vanderbilt will walk it up the floor. Now the pace has slowed down somewhat in the last 5 to 10 minutes of game time after a blistering start. Here's Hogarth on Williams. Williams, another rejection out of bounds, and it's back to the Cavs.
Yeah, so what you've seen is the size of Kentucky here early in this first half. I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm more dominant to you if I'm Andrew Carr going against Tyler Nickel. And then here against Devin McLaughlin, Amari Williams taking his time, going inside, not rushing. He's patient and poised. I think Kentucky can get that all night long.
Cats with 16 points in the paint thus far. Vandy with 20. And here's Perry. First career home start. All-time leading scorer in Kentucky high school basketball history. Williams double teamed off the back of Hogard, and Huffman comes away with it.
And an immediate adjustment by Mark Byington, who saw the difference. Now he has Jalen Carey in to try to match the size of Kentucky on their interior.
Huffman a path, Huffman, no, Williams with a rim protection has been elite tonight. Away!
Can't allow this to get away if you're Mark Byington, but I like the response here early by the Kentucky Wildcats. If I'm Mark Byington, I get a timeout as he does.
The largest lead for Kentucky at 7 points. More than 2 minutes into the second half, and a timeout for Mark Byington. Let's take a look at our Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. From the first half, Otega always says, oh no, not tonight. The rejection on Jason Edwards. And he had a little something to say afterwards, as you would expect.
Look at Jackson Robinson with his hands over his head. Still got a brace over that right wrist. But we know there's no party like a block party. And for Rupp Arena, the Wildcats have started one early here in this first half by going to the paint, defending the paint at a very high level, and that's the reason why they've now got a 7-point lead. On the other side, for Mark Byington, he quickly made the adjustment. He went bigger, so he's now got Devin McLaughlin and Jalen Carey in, which is when they're really good. I'm anxious to see the Commodores respond to the punch that the Kentucky Wildcats gave them in the first 2 to 3 minutes.
One of his key messages earlier this morning at shoot-around. You heard it separately from me, but we both understood the deeper meaning from Mark Byington. We've got to be aggressive. We've got to drive it. We've seen Edwards and Hogard play those roles tonight. Let's see what happens now, trailing by 7. Hogard picked up by Brea, and Edwards was fouled. He was held by Owe just for a moment. That'll be his second. And Otega trying to explain to Pat Adams exactly why that was not a foul.
Well, I would tell Otega, I know it's your first year in the SEC, but Pat Adams is not one that you are going to win an argument with.
I mean, has a player ever won an argument with an official at any level of basketball? Honestly, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, you got to try to butter him up a little bit,
okay.
You know?
Well, you butter them up, but you can't argue after the fact because you're not going to win. Hogard bottled up outside to McLaughlin. 5 to shoot. And here's Huffman on Perry. Bounce pass into Carey. He'll get the bounce himself.
And that's on number 11 in white, Travis Perry, the young freshman. It was really good defense. If you're Travis Perry, you've got to keep the ball in front on that reversal.
Perry, 28 minutes in the road loss at Texas, his first career start. Second start and his first at home here tonight. Carr loses the handle to Hogard. AJ on the run. And Carey blocked by Williams. He'll get it back and respond with a reverse.
Resilience and tenacity displayed by Jalen Carey. I like the job of Maury Williams getting back, but once again, transition is going to be the asset of the Commodores tonight. Their speed versus the size of Kentucky.
Back to a one-possession game and a foul inside. Carr tried to spring free and instead was held by Devin McLaughlin. That's his second. The lead is 3 and a timeout on the floor. Well, here in Lexington, we did want to take a moment to send our thoughts and prayers to all those impacted by the floods this past week here in Kentucky, throughout the portions of the Ohio Valley. And donation sites were actually set up here at Rupp Arena outside earlier today for fans to stop by and give whatever they could to help the recovery and the relief for this region. And certainly our thoughts and prayers with everyone in the Commonwealth, given all that's happened with the terrible storms, the flooding, and the recent snowstorm that came in after the fact. It has been a lot to deal with.
Well, when speaking with Coach Mark Pope, and that's why I say they have the perfect guy at the helm, he understands it. He gets it. He oozes Big Blue Nation blood because he understands just how important basketball is for the state of Kentucky. Not only from an emotional standpoint, from an economic standpoint, and that's why he values every single game. He valued winning a championship in that jersey, and he's elated to be here at that job. And so right now, when they compete to win, he competes to win for the state of Kentucky.
Well said. Now, Mark Pope, of course, the captain of that '96 national championship team, and his time at BYU and Utah Valley, nothing but win at a very high level. And now, here in Lexington, his team with a 3-point lead.
Well, they are sticking to Kobe Brea. Bees on honey. I mean, everywhere he goes. A.J. Hogarth right there. Look at Devin McLaughlin.
Amari Williams on carry. Pushes that one up and in.
Strong. Don't think there's a player who can stop him on the court tonight. And candidly, I don't think either of the bigs can stop Andrew Carr or Amari Williams. I think they can get whatever they want inside.
McLaughlin tries to get it outside, and he can't do it. Williams brings home the rebound. I think the other issue for Carey and McLaughlin, remember they were in foul trouble down in Knoxville. That was an issue, and Williams taking full advantage. He's got 15. And Otega Owe gave his partner, his teammate Amari Williams, a quick slap. He was clapping his hands together, waiting for Vanderbilt to move the ball into the front court. And Hogarth passes that one out of bounds. Now, don't forget, coming up next, Mizzou Arena, the place to be. Tigers are favored to beat top 5 Alabama in a top 15 showdown in Columbia.
Yeah, the AP voters pushed Missouri down and moved them right back up.
As they should have, right?
No doubt. Respect to the AP voters for doing that. Now Missouri has a chance to show the world what they're all about against the Crimson Tide, who will be playing angry tonight.
Carr up and in.
They don't have an answer for those two guys. And so if you're the Commodores on the other side, you've got to try to use your speed. Continue to use your speed to go to the basket.
Kentucky fans on their feet. Largest lead for the Cats.
Too stagnant. Got to move the ball.
Huffman found a way, couldn't spin it home. And a foul called. It was Carey and Chandler tangled up inside.
And this is why we showed the highlights with Kentucky going big to big in the first half. When you don't have a point guard, then you have other strengths still. And so for Andrew Carr, he's got so much experience, but 6'11", 235 pounds, the graduate student can score at will. He can also spread the floor, but in a game like today, you've got to go where your assets are, where your strengths are, and I think it's all inside for the Wildcats, and it's all foot speed for the Commodores.
Just mentioned the foul troubles, the road loss in Knoxville Saturday. Jalen Carey just picked up his 3rd.
Way to work if you're Andrew Carr.
Against the smaller nickel, Carr.
Really good defense, though, by Tyler Nickel. He did his work to push him off of the block, which made that shot a little bit tougher for Andrew Carr.
Kentucky, a nice job to get back defensively. Tyler Tanner outside to Hogarth.
And those are the shots the Commodores have to make. I like that possession. Tyler Tanner used his foot speed. A good look by A.J. Hogarth. Just came off a little bit hard.
32% from downtown this season for Hogarth. Away, a great cut. And he came up short. Edwards off the heel. Nickel at the deck trying to grab the board. Couldn't do it. Chandler. Well, he can. Off the crossover.
Good pass.
Carr. And a 9-0 run for Kentucky. Big Blue Nation stand up. The lead expands to 12.
We talked about it a little bit earlier. Colin Chandler had a couple of years off where he didn't play basketball, and so he's still getting a little rust off. And You know, this young man, I was thoroughly impressed when he won the dunk contest, but he's impressed me more today with his versatility of his skill set. You see the look away, kept the bounce, and he still had Andrew Carr in the corner on the left side of his vision. This young man has gained more confidence, and for Andrew Carr, you talk about an asset. A guy who's 6'11", he can post up on the block, he can give you some rim protection, he can rebound the basketball, and he can also help spread the floor and give you spacing with his ability to knock down the three-point shot. He was a critical piece in their Duke win, and he's been a critical piece since coming back tonight.
You mentioned it at halftime, Kentucky with the size advantage. Get it to Carr, get it to Williams. They have 13 of the Cats' 15 second-half points.
Yeah, it's something that Coach Mark Pope and his staff have immediately seen, and you see Mark Fox over there talking to Otega Owe and Andrew Carr. You talk about a coach in Mark Fox who was at Georgia, who loved throwing it inside to bigs, and who I think will be a good head coach again someday at the right spot.
Owe hasn't stopped smiling since the block of Edwards in the first half, right? He's been engaged. Vanderbilt without a point in the last 3.5. McLaughlin, aggressive, gets the roll. Badly needed bucket.
Yeah, that is a pretty running hook, but it goes back to what we said. He used his speed against the bigger, taller, stronger Brandon Garrison.
Here's Brea. Hogard closed late and paid the price.
You see Kerr Kriisa, and Lamont Butler, two of their point guards that are sidelined, but still engaged as teammates.
59-46, Edwards. Brea tracks it down. Brea attacking. Nickel got a hand on it. Ahead to Edwards. And fouled. Almador able to disrupt the layup. The Cats red hot from downtown here to begin this second half again.
Yeah, Kobe Brea didn't get enough attempts in the last game, but now he's making up for lost time, spraying a few threes.
Gentlemen, we cannot wait. Another action-packed night in the SEC. You got Arkansas, Auburn, you got Mizzou and Bama as soon as we're done here on SEC Network. Out at Mizzou Arena, Damian Fishback, Roy Philpott, and Vanderbilt trying to attempt to come back here trailing by 13. That is the largest deficit of the game, but Edwards at the line shooting two. Chandler picked up his third foul going out to that last break. The Cats and their depth on full display tonight without Lamont Butler and Jackson Robinson, and you see what they've done so far this year.
Yeah, that's why I always say that if you are able to get this Kentucky Wildcat team healthy, which they have only been for 7 games, that they're a team that can still compete to get to San Antonio. They've proven that. Wins over Florida, wins over Duke, Texas A&M. I mean, they beat some of the best teams in the nation. So that's what they have to focus on. But tonight, they have to focus on shutting the door on the Commodores, and I don't think that door is closed. I think that the Commodores need to pick up the pace of this game, whether that's via pressuring Kentucky or just getting the basketball out in transition faster off of Kentucky's misses, but they've got to get stopped, which has been hard.
Back iron for Chandler, carry, perhaps the one-handed rebound. Kentucky hasn't missed a lot of shots to start this second half. That's been one issue. You see the scoring differential second half so far tonight, a continuing trend Mark Byington's very well aware of. And a jump on the block by Almador. It'll stay on this end.
Take a look, though, Roy. Kentucky has a size advantage at almost every position, which is one of the reasons why you see this block here. Ansley Almanor, Tyler Tanner, the young freshman, he's outmatched. And even though you go to the paint, if I'm the Commodores, I'm penetrating to pass versus to finish until I wear the Kentucky Wildcats defense down a little bit.
Close out by Trent Noah was outstanding on Nickel. He'll get it back again. Nickel is short. And that shot clock should have reset on the miss as it caromed off the rim, and it finally does. And Edwards fouled by Chandler. That's his fourth.
That's his third, the team's third.
They're going to say that is his third.
Checking back in for Kentucky is Amari Williams.
They switched that foul after the last break. Williams checks back in. Carr comes on the floor, and the Cats go big.
You know, this Commodore team, similar to a lot of teams in the SEC with an 88+ percentage, winning non-conference percentage. They started out 12-1, their best start since 2007, 2008. And you talked about their tough stretch. It's very hard to win games against what the committee considered top 1, 2, or 3 seeds.
Here's Nickel weaving around in traffic outside to Tanner. And Chandler a rebound ahead to Williams, but out of bounds, and the turnover. Now coming up tomorrow night, women's basketball takes over the SEC network. Number 6 South Carolina, number 7 LSU on full display. It's Arkansas and Georgia, a couple of home games for 2 top 10 teams at 7 and 9 Eastern. That's tomorrow night on the SEC network and the ESPN app.
We talked about it earlier. Kim Mulkey, national championship, Don Staley, Coach Vic Schaefer, being able to knock off both of those teams.
Edwards inside. I mean, they're 2 contenders when the tournament arrives here in about 3.5 weeks. Not to mention, you talked about Texas and Madison Booker. Kenny Brooks has done a great job here at UK, revitalizing this program. Halfway home in the second, and Kentucky has expanded its lead. There's 1 point at halftime, now at 10.
Good cut.
Away.
Nothing better than a big who is a willing passer. For big guys, the better you can pass, the harder you are to defend and double team.
Collins to Tanner. Well, he saw Williams on the move and he thought better of it. And Chandler finds a way to grab the loose ball.
Colin Chandler everywhere. 7 points on the night. Now with 5 rebounds, 1 assist. You talk about making an impact.
The vision. And Noah off the mark. That would have been his second dime. One of those corner threes. Carr hit the first. Noah off the mark with the second. Tanner the floater. With a lid on tightly on this end of the floor for the Commodores.
Yeah, but Colin Chandler with another rebound. We talked about that was the difference in the first half. This is the matchup that you want if you're Kentucky.
Chandler to Oweh. Here come the Cats again. 64-49. Edwards pass Oweh, and Ortega looks back at Jeb Hartness, picks up the personal.
Colin Chandler with a very quick pass. That's what we mean when we say the ball should be moving like popcorn, because when you move the basketball quickly, you see Lamont Butler over there on the sideline cheering. That doesn't allow the defense the time to rotate and gives you a better look as a shooter. And that's what Ortega Oweh had the opportunity and time to do on that 3-point shot.
Yeah, Kentucky fans hoping that Lamont Butler or Jackson Robinson can return Saturday against Alabama. Mark Pope didn't sound optimistic earlier this week in his radio show talking about those 2 injuries. Hoggard able to sneak past Williams. They're going to count the bucket. And goaltending the call. AJ picks up 2. And of course it's Butler with the shoulder injury, re-aggravated against Tennessee, and Robinson continuing to battle with that right hand of the wrist injury.
Seen our first switch. It looks like a matchup zone now that the Vanderbilt Commodores are playing.
You like that move?
Well, he's just trying to change it up. You got to do something to try to change it up. The way Kentucky's shooting the basketball and taking advantage inside. Woo! Andrew Carr once again with a big-time finish.
Carr drops the hammer. The lead back to 15.
Like the help. You see Amari Williams, he's just showing himself.
His presence is extremely large. Mignon a three. Commodores needed that with their 5th triple tonight.
Yeah, Chris Mignon, we talked about his energy, the effort that he plays with. When he pops, it seems like the Commodores do as well. A veteran, had 3 years at Cornell. They need his presence here down 12 on the road.
Fish, that's just his 5th made 3-ball of the season. Comes at an important time. Under 7 to go. Kentucky the size advantage, and it's Carr back to work. Off his knee and out of bounds. The lead is 12. Vanderbilt gets it back when we come back to Lexington.
At 8:08, a goaltending call was called. That call is reversed. It is not goaltending. 2 points will be taken off of Vanderbilt.
Pat Adams with the call. They're going to take the goaltending call off the board, so subtract 2 from Vanderbilt's ledger there. It's 66-52. The guys were talking, Fish, about the environment and what we're going to see later tonight over in Como with Bama coming to town. Missouri fans, I want you to know, I fought for your arena to be on this list of the loudest venues in the Southeastern Conference. I know how loud it is. Who else do you like?
Well, this is not in any order, so these are our top 5 that we picked for 24-25. Neville Arena, Rupp Arena, Exact Tech Arena, Memorial Gymnasium, and Mizzou Arena. Now, there's some arenas that I haven't been to, nor Roy has been to, but those 5 have thoroughly impressed us this season, and we expect Mizzou Arena to be packed for the Crimson Tide tonight.
Can't wait for it. 9 o'clock Eastern here on SEC Network. Another top 15 showdown. Well, big call on erasing the goaltend. And Nickel tracks down the errant pass. Now Mignon. And a whistle inside. Let's go back and look. I didn't think it was a goaltend in real time.
Oh, Roy, you can't say that now, man.
You're right, I can't.
You said that after the fact. You got to say it when they call the goaltend to say, I think they're going to change the goaltending call at the break.
Brea picks up his first. Carey gets the inbound and the layup. To your point, Lee Cassell came over and he said, what did you think? I said, I didn't think it was goaltending. And he said, you were right.
Yeah, he did.
All right. So I at least had that.
You did.
This game has moved so quickly with the pace. We haven't had time to examine a lot of replays or reviews like what transpired there.
I like the move by Mark Byington. He's going to a zone, which you got a couple of freshmen on the floor, so he wants them to become stagnant, a little confused.
Deep 3 for Perry.
Didn't work, did it?
The zone buster.
Well, those 2 guys, thousands of points in high school, and so they're comfortable shooting the basketball without question.
Tyler Nickel is as well. He'll float it up short. And it bounces out of bounds back to the Cats.
And you can see the passion when you look. We were talking about some of the best fan bases. When you look through the crowd at Rupp Arena, we were actually talking to a guy earlier who said he was 85 years of age and had not missed a radio show of a game since he was 6 years old.
That's 79 years. Our man Gerald. And Carey, the fastball out of bounds. Mignon said that was his bad, but it should have been a bounce pass probably to get it to Chris Mignon.
Yeah, I love the fact that the teammates Chris Mignon and Jalen Carey stuck together, which you expect from the leader and Mark Byington. Listen, they're 5-7 currently in league play. Still, you know, a long shot in this game with 14, being down 14 on the road at Rupp Arena. The finish is just as important for both of these teams.
We did ask the question of Coach Byington, how many wins do you think you'd need to go to the NCAA tournament within the conference? Williams, another powerful move at the rack. He's got 17. And he said, you know what? The committee doesn't care. The committee doesn't care about the number of league wins. The Commodores projected as an 11 seed right now. To your point, Fish, they have more quad 1 opportunities. but the number of league wins, we like to talk about those magic numbers. Is it 7? Is it 8? It really comes down to your overall body of work, not whether or not you are within 2 or 3 games of 500 in the SEC.
Which is how it should be. If that's not the case, then non-conference wouldn't be of value anymore. And so whether you get a quad 1 win in November or you get a quad 1 win in February, it still should have the same weight. And again, you see the importance of this basketball game, net ranking at 42, strength of schedule 66, and a couple of quad 1 wins. But you see the challenges they've had with the 7 quad 1 losses because of the type of league that they're playing in.
Carey, beautiful spin.
Oh,
and he dunks it down. Jalen Carey with authority.
So that's how you attack the basket.
And the 4th foul on Owe, so a significant sequence there for a number of different reasons. Garrison was involved trying to block the dunk of Carey, but Owe clipped him first. And Jalen Carey to the line. Well, you know, Dad was a first-round pick as an offensive lineman back in the day, and he's got that build to him. Missed the free throw.
Now, if you're Vanderbilt, we talked about pushing the pace. You've got to add additional pressure, and that's why Mark Byington has gone out of the zone back to man-to-man.
Owe floats it in.
Too good. As I said earlier, I think he's the best downhill driver in the SEC.
Fish, he's got 20 points tonight. I mean, it's what he does, night in and night out, Mr. Consistency. And he comes up with a steal here. Brea off the bounce. Outside to Perry. And the Cats are humming tonight. Kentucky by 20. Collins, and now Carey, Garrison the block. Obanor.
You talk about an arena that was ready to erupt.
And Carey called for the offensive foul.
Roy, we talked about the fan bases. They appreciate individuals from their hometown. Lyon County High School, Eddyville, Kentucky, homegrown, and he's on. Travis Perry with the 3.
SEC men's basketball presented by Pfizer, the official pneumococcal pneumonia vaccine awareness sponsor of the SEC. And a big night for Amari Williams. He has been perfect from the field and the free throw line, 17 and 6 to pace the Cats in this second half.
Yeah, the Wildcats have certainly been swagging and surfing throughout this second half. They've done it from the three-point line. They've done it inside. And you could tell after the Tennessee win, Rupp Arena in Kentucky felt like they were going back in the right direction. And even though it was a respectable loss at Texas, it's a game that Kentucky felt like that they should have won. And so to be able to come back into Rupp Arena, you mentioned the flood disasters that are going on. This win for Kentucky, if they're able to pull it out, right, up 20 points, is something that Big Blue Nation needed right now. And it's impressive to see how they started the second half, because we know the first half there was dominance in the paint and on the glass by the Commodores, but they responded coming out in the second 20 minutes.
Travis Perry, you know about what he was able to do at Lyon County in high school, all the points, title run, and an incredible start to his career. And you look at the mustache is gone. Last time I was here in December, it was in full force. And he decided to shave that right before their game on New Year's Eve against Brown. Ended up shooting the ball well that night. He stuck with it at the encouragement of his dad. And it's working out quite well. 2 threes tonight in his second career start, his first one here at Rupp.
Yeah, you expected the freshman to play better here at home in Rupp Arena, but this is the part that I'm impressed with. Defensively, they continue to improve.
Perry the lob to Garrison. It was intercepted. Amador from downtown.
He is an absolute sniper from behind the three-point line. It's getting to where when he takes the shot, you expect it to go in every time.
Ainsley Amador, he has been on a heater just when the Cats have needed him the most. Was 45% from behind the arc this season.
And this is from the Commodores what we've seen. Typically when their offensive struggles begin to occur, then their defense begins to falter as well, which is typical of a lot of teams. A lot of times they get confidence when the ball goes through the basket, and this is just an unfortunate circumstance. But good focus that time by Travis Perry. And Ainsley Amador is shooting as well as anybody in the SEC at 43.8% coming into the basketball game.
9 points tonight, 3 of 5 from behind the arc for Ainsley Amador. Blocked it. Baseball pass ahead, and Tyler Tanner. The layup, 79-58. That'll stop 8-0 run by the Cats.
The change in this basketball game was Kentucky deciding to go inside in the second half. That is what actually opened it up from the perimeter.
That cut to Brea. And McLaughlin frustrated, giving up the layup, the foul, and a free throw coming for Kentucky. And Mark Byington searching for answers. Cats have pulled away in a massive way in this second half. Coming up Sunday night, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 3.5-hour recap. This week's men's and women's swimming and diving championships. Florida Gators have won the last 12 men's titles. Also, women's 2-time defending champs. We will see what happens. That recap headed your way Sunday night on SEC Network. 190 seconds remaining. The Cats win their 7th SEC game. And improved to 7-6 in the process. And it was hard fought tonight. The pace early. We thought this game could trend certainly north of 80 points, but perhaps as many as 100. And Mark Pope's team continued that pace. Their defense improved. It was enough. And then Vanderbilt unable to answer all of those threes. 11 tonight for Kentucky.
Sure, and Mark Byington mentioned 10 being the number. Kentucky getting to 11, shooting 42%, which is about 3 or 4 percentage points higher than they've been shooting on the season, about 38% as a team. But now, for the Kentucky Wildcats, it gets real. They've got to go to Coleman Coliseum, which wasn't on our list, but is as challenging to play as anywhere in the country. Their game day environment was simply sensational, and I guarantee you they will be ready for the Wildcats and Dickie V on this weekend.
Yeah, going to be a ton of fun in that one. And again, Alabama and Missouri coming up from Mizzou Arena, and we are done in Lexington.
That's where Travis Perry, I know he wanted to get it to the big man Brandon Garrison, has to be more decisive.
And Collins was bumped on the way up. For Vanderbilt, Ole Miss comes to Nashville Saturday, and you look at the remaining schedule, there are some winnable games at the back end of league play, but coming up for Mark Byington's team, this becomes a critical game. I mean, they're all big, but now at 5-8 in the SEC after this loss tonight, and a top 25 team coming to your house. They've had success against ranked foes at Memorial Gymnasium this year. That's another one you kind of circle and you say, you got to find a way, perhaps.
Absolutely, and I think what Mark Byington will look at this film and recognize, and every game's a little bit different, that they have to play as fast as possible without turning the basketball over. 10 turnovers in this basketball game. As you mentioned earlier, they have more possessions because they take care of the basketball, they turn you over, and they do a nice job on the glass. But they have to play with a faster pace to get better looks and to get to the paint like he was talking about. And if they can get stops defensively and do that, then they'll have more production.
Noah outside to Chandler. He's got 7 points, missed the 3. Great to see number 5 for the Cats do what he has done in this game. 7 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. And McLaughlin, the pump fake.
Devin McLaughlin giving all he has. And I thought the Commodores did, but the Kentucky Wildcats back home, inspired, motivated for the state of Kentucky, coming off a tough defeat at Texas. They responded as we would have expected, Roy.
18-8 now on the season. 7-6 in the SEC. Mark Pope and Mark Byington shaking hands midcourt. And the Cats protect their home court tonight in a big way after a big second half. Great environment and a much-needed win for Big Blue Nation. 82-61, our final. Let's get you back to the studio. Peter Burns, Pat Bradley, Patrick Young. Gentlemen, take it away.